Cultural appropriation of Indian and Fijian culture. Hi, my name is Kejal Patel, and this presentation is based on cultural appropriation on Indian and Fijian culture. Firstly, we would talk about the definition of what cultural appropriation means, and then we will enlighten on the history of the elements of being culturally appropriated in Indian and Fijian culture. The video would further discuss about who and how the cultural elements are appropriated and what are my personal views. The video lastly shows that how one could appreciate cultural elements. Before I jump into explaining what cultural appropriation is, let's first understand what each of this term in the phrase is meant. When we look at the term culture, it indicates anything that is associated with ethnicity, traditions, values, customs, or beliefs of a particular ethnic group. While appropriation refers to taking something that simply does not belong to you, therefore, cultural appropriation really means taking that one element from a culture that is not your own and applying or consuming for one's personal benefit. There are various ways how people commit in doing cultural appropriation in the society. For example, Halloween costumes. Halloween costumes of different cultures without even understanding what that particular costume means and wearing it during Halloween is highly cultural appropriate. Fashion statement clothes. Having to use other cultural elements as a fashion statement would be highly culture appropriate for other cultures. Sports mascots and so forth are. History and importance of the cultural elements. Indian culture is very vibrant and broad community. It has significant fusion of various cultures like say Gujaratis, Muslims, Buddhism, and so forth. Each of the culture in India has different values and tradition. Today, I will be focusing on the cultural elements like henna and bindi. Henna. Henna is known as mehendi in Indian subcontinental, where women apply in many variations of mehendi design patterns on their hands and feet. Henna designs are even applied on god and goddess of Hindu religion. As the henna is applied in almost all the special occasions and festivals throughout the year, the application of henna is integral part of many celebrations such as engagement ceremonies, weddings, naming ceremonies, birthdays, Diwali, Eid, Raksha Bandhan, and the list goes on and on. The henna paste is associated with positive spirits and good luck, which is the main reason why it is applied in all the ceremonies. Cultural appropriation of henna. The cultural appropriation of henna started as a fashion statement by celebrities like Beyonce and Vanessa Hudgens, who have used and applied henna for mainly as the fashion statement. In one of the music videos of Beyonce in 2016, she wears the henna on both sides of the hand, with Indian jewelries and attire. While Vanessa Hudgens have been wearing henna multiple times in the past in Coachella as a fashion statement. It is hard to understand that these celebrities are wearing this henna as a part of fashion statement without even learning or understanding what the actual meaning of applying henna is. This behavior simply upsets every Indian since they are not aware of real purpose of henna application on their body. Bindi. Bindi or tika are significant part of Indian culture, where Indian god and goddess have been seen wearing them. And ever since then, it has been carried out by Indians. Bindi is applied by women, while tika is used by old to younger people, and priests as well. Bindi or tika are applied on our forehead between our eyebrows. Moreover, different colors of bindi and tika are worn for different occasions and stages in life. Married women are identified from their bindi color. If their bindi color is red, it shows they are married. Else, if they are wearing black, then either they are unmarried or widow. Widows are not allowed to wear bindis in our culture. But now, due to modernization, in Indian culture, most women wear black bindis, and married or unmarried women wear any color of bindis as they like. During the research, I learned that the place where bindi is applied is known as Ajna Chakra, a place of third eye. Placing a bindi or tika helps one to lose aham, ego, or sense of individuality. Basically, applying bindi on your forehead helps you to calm down and think of positivity. Cultural appropriation of bindi. The cultural appropriation of bindi and tiga have been started when celebrities like Madonna, Selena Gomez, Katy Perry, Jessica Simpson, Ashley Judd, Miley Cyrus, Beyonce, and the list goes on and on of celebrities who have used this cultural element as fashion. All the celebrities mentioned have used Indian culture element bindi for a purpose of new fashion element or have worn bindis because they found it so fascinating on others so they wanted to try on themselves without even understanding or doing a proper research of why it should be worn. Fijian culture. Tapa. A tapa or masi is a traditional bark cloth full of art being printed on the cloth. The use of tapa has significantly been in socio-cultural ceremonies over the years. The importance of tapa in Tonga, Samoa, and Fiji are very cultural in the society, as tapa are still being used in births, weddings, and funeral ceremonies. In Fiji, when these families of bride and groom exchange gifts, tapa is presented or gifted to the families. Moreover, traditionally, the bride and the groom wear the tapa clothing as part of their wedding outfits. When there is a death in Fijian culture, the Fijians use the tapa to wrap the inner and the outer coffin of the deceased person. The traditional meaning of having tapa or masi in religious rituals in Fiji are used in a form of to communicate with gods and is known as a medium through which gods are able to enter the temple. Having different form of design on tapa have its own meanings. As specific culture has more oral language, so designs have been created as a form of textual language to tell story or message of significance. The cultural appropriation of tapa. The cultural appropriation of tapa was done by a New York fashion designer named Nanette Lepore. She claimed that the Fiji Masi was actually a design named Aztec, an African design. Initially, that design was not an Aztec, but it was a Fiji Masi. The designer was inspired by the patterns and had used the traditional design on the dress, mentioning as passport to style. Many people were offended by this act as the traditional cloth was named as an African design. It showed that the designer simply had no knowledge of neither African nor Fijian culture of clothing designs. Does cultural appropriation in Indian and Fijian culture upsets me? Yes, it does, since every culture is unique. Using or taking one element of my culture for fashion, fun, or just costume simply disrespect its original concept or meaning of it. If you see in above the pictures of all the people wearing the costumes and putting our goddess photos on the costume, it simply is disrespectful how you're putting our goddess as a costume or in bikini or pants where we pray them, we worship them. This is very disrespectful and upsetting how people are not able to research or understand what these cultural elements are and the true meaning of it. Cultural appreciation. Yes, slowly people are learning the importance of these cultural elements of Indian and Fijian culture. I have personally not seen these cultural elements being appreciated by celebrities or other people, but I could suggest it could be appreciated by people if they do their proper research before applying wearing any cultural elements in public. Gaining a proper understanding of where and when these elements could be worn is a must by everyone. A simple example would be a bindi or hina applied by a non-white Indian person in an Indian occasion would simply show respect and appreciation of culture.